All right, it's time for a little lurv in the morning now. Spring cleaning season underway, and that could include your relationships.
Well, this morning, we're going to talk about what not to do if you want those romantic connections to stand the test of time. Joining us on the couch, we want to welcome back certified relationship and marriage coach Jennifer Blaine-Cool. Good morning.
Good morning, Emily and Travis. It's an honor to be here
Great
as always.
to see you.
Thanks for
Good
having me.
morning.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig into this topic. A lot of times we focus on, what could we be doing or what to do, what not to do. What are the pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah, so first I want to say that I think a lot of us have an assumption that fighting less in a relationship leads to more joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
But that's not true. The most happiest couples fight. But the key is how do you navigate through those fights? So I want to start there because it's proven through research that there's these 4 horsemen of apocalypse that represent, through science and research, I credit John Gottman. He's a world-renowned relationship expert. He puts couples in a research lab, and he has a 97% accuracy rate of being able to determine who's going to stay together and who's going to split apart by the way they behave. So this comes from a lot of research and data, which I always appreciate in my line of work.
So these would be the 4 horsemen that spell the apocalypse of your relationship.
Yeah, these are like if these 4 horsemen are trampling around your living room on a regular basis, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I love tools like this that give us a lens of something concrete that we can measure maybe where we are currently, but also give us some strategies and concrete tools to get better, because a lot of these things are very human default ways of behaving.
All right.
And so, I want to come in with a complete lack of judgment. I think we all are guilty of all 4 of these.
Yeah.
But just, coming in with love and awareness, we can do a lot better.
So what do we
Yeah,
need to
what
be
are they?
looking
What
out
are they,
for?
Jen?
Yeah.
So they are criticism, contempt, which is shown to be the strongest predictor of divorce.
Oh, interesting.
Defensiveness and stonewalling. So criticism turns the focus on the person and their character versus the problem. So the solution to that is speak in terms of what you do want versus what you don't want. We get in this default of, you didn't take out the trash, why are you lazy, blah, blah, blah. But speaking in terms of the specific loving, positive requests that you do want to make of your partner and the things that you want to see happen in a positive way, you get to avoid slamming your partner, making them feel horrible, and at the same time, you're going to be a lot more productive in teaching your partner specifically what they can do to meet your needs in a direct way. So everybody wins more there.
Yeah, you come in with criticism, they're immediately going to go into defensive mode, and it's going to be an argument. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Contempt holds a lot of criticism inside of it, but contempt comes more from a place of superiority. I'm better than you. This is where we call our partner names and eye roll and, exude more of that cynicism
Like
with
it's
them.
kind of condescending.
Yes, very condescending. So the antidote to that is, keeping a culture of appreciation. This takes effort. I will tell you, as a marriage coach, it is not our default to walk around and really express, especially in longer term relationships, maybe in the beginning.
Yeah.
But, really getting good at expressing more out loud gratitude, what you do love, what you do appreciate that your partner's doing.
And that's a good exercise in all areas of life. We would all be better off for practicing more gratitude, I think.
Yeah. And it's a little astounding, but the research also shows by Gottman that a 5-to-1 ratio, 5 positive affirmations for every 1 criticism, which is a little mind-blowing. I mean, most people react like, "Whoa, that's a lot." I think it's flipped in my house. Not me. I'm just saying I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
So working hard to a 5-to-1 ratio rule. Defensiveness, I think this is also very common in longer term relationships, especially when we're feeling criticized, like you said, Emily.
But that's important, I guess, a good reminder too, if you feel yourself going into that defensive mode, being open to hearing what your partner has to say.
Yes, spot on.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to agree with our partner. Over 75% of conflict in love relationships will never be resolved. Will never be resolved.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I know. So working towards that open mind and open heart perspective of, okay, I'm not aligning in my mind and brain with my partner, but my partner is a different person with different experience. with a different perspective.
Interesting. Okay, and then what was the last one to round out the list?
Last one is stonewalling. This is when
Stonewalling.
we feel flooded and overwhelmed by what our partner is telling us, and we use shutting down, fleeing the scene, leaving.
Yeah.
So importantly, you know, a lot of people do a great job by pressing the pause button and saying, I need a break before I do something I'm going to regret.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I'm constantly amazed in my work about the far majority of people. I'm guilty of this as well. You leave the scene, but you don't say when you're going to come back.
Right.
You've got to say when you come
Right.
back, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to leave for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let's talk about this later. But then you do have to follow up and talk about it later. 'Cause
Absolutely.
if you have a partner that wants to sit down at the table and hash it out, and they don't want to leave until we've reached an understanding and kind of figured this out,
Right.
and you just walk away,
Right.
yeah,
That makes sense.
That's a toxic spiral that's hard to get out of.
Absolutely. And you know, that is a very common scenario where one person is the stayer
Yep.
and the other person is the fleer.
Yep.
I mean, I see a lot of that coupling in my
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
So stay away from those 4 horsemen. And you know, I encourage you to, you know, research this online.
Yeah.
Just all you have to do is type in 4 horsemen. It's going to come up. Use it as a tool. Use it with humor.
Yeah.
You know, don't make it a negative tool to use. I love to say things like, "Oh boy, these horses are trampling around." You know, bring it up with humor.
Yeah, with
and,
a little
and
levity,
lightness.
and that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, stay away
it's
from
always
those.
always great to see you, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good advice.
All right, and if you have a question for Coach Jen, send us a message right now on the Coin Museum Extra Facebook or Instagram pages. Your question may be answered right here on the show, and you can remain anonymous.